data shows the different categories or ranks or something, that is again an ordinal data. It is also again a part of categorical data because it shows some categories. So if some certain data are there, then it shows the order, like as I had discussed yesterday, that some ranks, like for example, if we uh, gather a faculty rank, so dean sir would be at the top. After that, HOD, or you can say departmental head. After that, professor, associate professor, and last assistant professor, and then clerical staff. So this way you can orderize, or you can say you can find out order of a different sequence of a people, maybe on the basis of income, maybe on the basis of other ranks and all that. Like in army, we can just order give the ranks, and we can just gather a data, and we can get some more information on the basis of rank. We can compare it, like for example, now this example, you can compare it that associate professor would have more knowledge than assistant professor. You can even compare it maybe on the basis of the salary, maybe you can assume it. So this was a basic ordinal data. Now we are moving towards interval data. So see, many times you cannot ask a direct question in a questionnaire. Like for example, you cannot ask, sir, what's your salary? And even I would not say, even I would not like to say that my salary or my age or something other things. So here you would collect the data in a midpoint. You can say indirect way. So what you will ask, what is your salary range? Maybe 5 to 10,000, 10 to 15,000, 15 to 20,000, 20,000 to 25,000, 25,000 to 30,000, or 30,000 or above. So here I would just tick on whichever class my salary would become. Same way, age. Many of the time, respondent doesn't like to say the age. So here indirectly you collect the data. So that would give you can say interval data. Next, last was ratio data. So ratio data will give you exact data. Like for example, if I just we will discuss of different weight of a students. So it would have a specific measure that we would be measuring on the basis of kg. So that type of weight is basically known as a uh, ratio data. Same way, different data would be there, and we need to work. So that was a basic theme of all the things. But as I have discussed, my software, you can say our software Minitab, it doesn't categorize all that. You need to see the data and you need to give him a command. So okay, one more thing, as I am discussing with my father also, and here I would be discussing much more important thing. See, everyone has done the blood test, right? See, laboratory people know everything. He knows the limit, he knows hemoglobin percentage, he also writes in his report. But he cannot diagnose the disease, he cannot interpret what the report is saying. The report is always diagnosed by a doctor. So always be a statistician, that you can say diagnose the report as a doctor rather than preparing a statistics report. Everyone can prepare. Nowadays softwares are so powerful that within a click, as I am showing you, within just few clicks you can calculate everything like CPK and PPK, or you can say simple process capability. With a few clicks, I had shown you all the data, I had shown you all the range and everything. So you just have to make your you can say insights, and you can say your improvement to interpretation side more rather than data analyze. You can say just entering and getting things. You just need to understand the data. So till here, it was something which I just wanted to convey. Now basically I want to start a topic, today's topic. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, I will just today, most of the theory part which was left today, I will try to cover it. And from I think Monday, we will start our basic statistical analysis of Six Sigma. Okay, now the important thing of the day, just give me 1 minute. Okay. The important thing of a day is something comes from time value of time. Sorry, the value of time. See, basically, whenever we are working in manufacturing segment or in any segment, time plays a vital role. Time plays really a vital role. Why time plays a vital role? Because on the basis of time, on the basis of commitment, we need to, we need to manufacture it, or you can say we need to perform it, and on the basis of it we need to give the outcome of it to our customer or clients. So that's why time value, or you can say value of the time, is playing much more important thing in today's world. Screen is visible, students? Yes, no? Screen is visible. Good evening to all. Yes, so I am starting my session now. uh, Great. Good evening to all, and just give me 1 minute, okay? So we would be starting our topic of time. So basically, when we see both the picture, we just think about what is good time and what is bad time. Many times we are struggling it, and many times we are just going towards a fortune teller, and sometimes the fortune teller tells that your time is not good. See, it is not like that. Your every time which is associated, no, that is we need to do your work on time. If we doesn't get a work, or when we doesn't work on time, that is considered as a bad time. So the same thing is that, but see here they are interacting. When you don't work on time, you can explain the time is not good, and most of the time we need to be accurate. We need to do our work, and on the basis of that work, we need to make a competitive edge. So that same thing plays a in a business. So be the first and fast player. See, first and fast player means, in sense, whenever we are just working in a manufacturing segment or a service segment, if we just work fast, if we just be quick, and we just serve our customer as much as quick and as much as fast, they would be more satisfied. But but again I am saying, okay, everyone has heard about McDonald's. Everyone has heard about McDonald's case, or you can say just McDonald's. What they are doing? Do they serve properly? Do you get your food on time? Whenever you order that food, you will get on time food. Just they will tell you that within 5 minutes your order would be there, and you need to collect your order from them. So that is a basic, you can say, core competency of McDonald's. Same way, the same way, we need to be fast and a first player. We need to increase our competitive edge by making on-time deliveries, because customers are willing to pay the price, and we are just having an opportunity to improve our quality, improve our errors. So that is a basic, you can say, ratio and rule for it. So in today's business issue, what are the basic business issue that we would be discussing? So the business issue is that we are working on it, but we cannot get the actual output, what desired output is required by a customer. So that is not, you can say, that is a basic thing which makes a hindrance to our six, you can say, processes, and due to it, we are moving towards Japanese management to implement this like most of the concepts, and we are trying to adopt Six Sigma. So now quality and price are two axes in a business, as we have seen in our picture. The third axis is time. See, if we are lacking behind the time, then also there is a possibility that our competitors will make their edge, and they will move ahead. Speed is need of an hour. To be fast and to be first, that has become a challenge. Conventional business approach is moving towards higher production, which affects the quality and may force to sell in discounts or as a seconds and carry out high inventories. Okay, now here after 1991, I would like to discuss concept that after 1991 we have moved towards mass production. When we have moved towards mass production, we have compromised with the quality. We have just like try to increase the production, and on the basis of it we have prepared much more goods as it is not required in a market, or sometimes due to it, if there are some errors, then also what we were doing, we were just compromising with quality, and we were compromising with the sales price. We were selling it with huge discount, or we were just trying to make our high inventory goods. So this is basically muda, or you can say this is again a problem of a business. Quality in time at least cost may be the mission of a statement, or you can say mission statement, moving ahead a challenging, or you can say changing environment. I would like to say challenging environment rather than changing, because change is a part of a environment. But nowadays, that change also challenge at every moment. Every business is having a challenge. Like this COVID is again a challenge for it. We need to move ahead. Now, statistical methodologies are applied in every business to, you can say, improve the process. But there is also certain uncertainties. We try to predict it through probability. We try to work with it. But many times there is no certain things that work. This was the one thing which I like to highlight it. Taking off the blunders, if in a strategy, it is important to see distant things as if they were close, and to take distant view of a close things. So it was taken from Mamoto Mashai, the book of Firings. What actually it wants to convey? Do you know that many times when we predict the strategy, we predict it something which we think that maybe it is a close thing. Whenever we just see the future, suppose there are you can say, when we just see the future, we try to predict it that we can achieve it. But in reality, when we just try to see it, it is much more far, it is much more competitive than what we have thought. So this thing should not happen. We should try to predict it, we should try to make the strategy according to the synergy, and we try to achieve it on time. So many times competitiveness requires many innovation. Now small innovation would also give you a maximum outcome, and that is required in a today's world. So for example, no existing market share is safe today. Even no product life is indefinite. Every product has a life cycle which you have been studied in a marketing, or in a second Sam Kotler book, that every product has a four stages of life. Even after mature, it would be declining stage. So every product has a declining stage, and then again we would be reinventing it, and again it would be relaunched in a market. So not only this is a truth for high technology, but it is also true for consumer products. Competition will tear away market niches, and technology advances from established business through a weapon of innovation. Companies will become merely shadow of the glory days, and or will vanish if they do not find to recreate their market success through steady stream of innovative products and customer oriented solutions. Here I would like to add one more thing. Before few years, like I just want to add it, like when I was a small, at that time Kodak was number one company. Kodak was just work. Have you heard about this company Kodak? Presently now you just visit a camera shop, no, they would be highlighting that their Fujifilm and Kodak, they have still kept that banners, but yet it is not much more nowadays. In a, you can say now products are not sold much more. But this both company, Kodak and Fujifilm, they were preparing the roles of a camera. Previously, when I was small, as I have discussed, like before 10 to 15 years, when I was pursuing my MBA, yes, Kodak was having a camera. It was not a digital camera, it was having that reel. When that reel was you can say dipped in certain chemicals, you can get a print of a photograph. And basically, during that age, you can consider 1990s age, the camera was much more wanted product. But now you can see they didn't adopt the change. Nowadays, feel like a horror. I didn't. Okay, okay. listen carefully. That camera, like that company, they have not upgraded. They were number one company in the age of 1990s, but now you can see where it is now. Nowhere. They don't have even 1% of a market share. I just compare that age. They were having more than 40% of market share at that time. Even the photography was done with that type of cameras only. But the time has changed. Nowadays you can see the CDs are also not used. So all these things plays a vital role. All these things plays a vital role. If they do not adopt the change, if they do not like on time, they do not change accordingly, they are thrown out of a market. Even I had given a case of Nokia is nowhere nowadays. Nokia company is not having one model in it in present market. But when you just compare it to before 5 or 10 years, Nokia was having 10 out of out of 10 mobiles, 7 mobiles were sold of a Nokia. It was having 70% of market share. So that is the thing. Competitiveness requires innovation. Now, these are the most important pillars of a business. Remember, whenever you just do a business, you just try to innovate something, you need to see the process. And for seeing the process, first you need to do business assessment, change management, and even you need to take a strategic decision. So these three pillars plays a vital role to change your business directly or indirectly. First, you know need to know where you are, what you are doing. Suppose you are owner of a Kodak company. Suppose I am just making you a owner of a Kodak company, and nowadays, like if you want to modify it, the cameras have become so minute. Previously, the cameras were heavy and bulky. Now it has become so minute and so easy to carry device. Like in mobile, they are having a 10 to 12 megapixel camera, or you can say today 64 megapixel cameras are available. So now in mobile also, the innovation have been installed. So now why should they buy my product? There should be some unique aspect that should be there, and business assessment can try to find out that thing only. My one question to you: why Canon company, who is making DSLR, it has not thrown out of the market? Canon, even Sony. Why that Kodak company has only thrown out from a market? Have you heard about DSLR cameras? First of all, yes, no, yes. Why it has not, like, why they have not been thrown out? See, the camera pictures are still same, but why it has not thrown out from a market? Why? Should I give the answer fast? Okay, listen. Many companies try to create a monopoly by just, you can say, differentiating the product, differentiating their identity, differentiating their some niche. You can say they are creating their niche market. Like for example, that Sony or as I had discussed, Canon, they have just created a market for DSLR, and DSLR cameras are such digital camera that can just capture high resolution pictures. So now many photographers are capturing photo. When you just go to get your passport size photograph or any other photograph, they will be using DSLR cameras rather than a mobile cameras, because when you need clarity, you have to adopt some change. And they have created a niche marketing. See, the mobile cameras are still not that much clear and focused that they capture according to DSLR camera. Not even that Samsung S20, or you can say they have just made a telescopic camera, but actually they cannot capture as a DSLR camera because of their lens and because of their uniqueness. So same way, we need to be ahead. We need to make our project niche. We need to assess it, and we need to adopt the change. So that is a basic thing. We need to prepare business assessment. We need to change accordingly. See, they have changed accordingly. They have made their from that roll camera to digital camera. So they have changed accordingly to the time, and on the basis of it they have made their strategic decision. So my end conclusion for it is innovation means that you must be organized to allow constant change and you need to upgrade accordingly. Okay, why we need to manage our time? If we are doing a business, why we need to manage a time? First of all, can anyone say in a basic life why time management is important? Schedule. Why we require schedule? First of all, again I am simplifying it. Why we require the timetable? Am I audible clearly, students? Am I audible, students? Good evening. Why timetable is required in your life, day-to-day life? Just can you just debrief me? It's managing the task. Very good. So there should be no task or no classes between them. Very good. Even Bhumika has given very nice answer for the work we complete on time. So it sets the standard. So basically, time management plays a vital role. See, I am just moving towards a Six Sigma. All the things would be related to Six Sigma. So time management is also a part of Six Sigma. Whenever you require the activities to be done, you need to do it. Now, why time crisis occurs? Why there is something which we doesn't do on time? What are the things that in a work we doesn't work, and what actually is a crisis management, or you can say in simple terms what is a time crisis management? So remember this two things, that whenever we postpone the unpleasant work, here occurs a time crisis management. Or whenever we not recognize the actual problem, the set of problem, then also the crisis occurs. In simple terms, have you heard about the book Eat the Frog? Anyone has heard about the book Eat the Frog? It is the title of the book. Don't get misconception. Have you heard about the book Eat the Frog? Yes, no? No. Okay, just find out from. I will teach you how to get many books, ebooks. I will teach you, but just find out Eat the Frog book. It's very nice book. Here, it just highlights that whenever there are unpleasant tasks, no, first you complete that unpleasant task, and then you just work to other tasks. So that would manage your time crisis. And when you just complete that unpleasant task, the other task would be done so fast that you would manage your time very easily and appropriately. So sometimes, as I have discussed, this time crisis occurs due to postponement of unpleasant tasks. Many times we don't like that task, so we would say pachi kari lais and all that. That should not happen. Second is non-recognition of problem. We are not identifying what actual problem is. So due to it, the time crisis arise. So on the basis of it, the procrastination of creates crisis. So like for simple things, the tendency to do what I will easily trouble-free or pleasant or leave for the future issues, that time you just create the crisis like થઈ જશે પછી and all that we are using in our day-to-day life. And on the basis of it, we are just piling the work for future, and that's why you create the some crisis. They become irritants, and we do not want to become because it reminds us for our inefficiency and incapacity to face unpleasant issues. And a thing is done always remain with us, so undone things would be always highlighted, and that should not be there. So as I had discussed, do the unpleasant work first. So Eat the Frog, as I had discussed that book, that is saying the same thing. Whatever you don't like, whatever the things which is like hammering you, you think that this work is very unpleasant. I am very much not. You can say I will do it on a later base or something. The feeling comes. You just try to do that work first, and then other tasks would be aligned to it and it would be smoothly completed. So we cannot expect everything in a life to be pleasant. Like the two sides of a coin, and unpleasant always goes with a pleasant, as we know. And the one who does not postpone making a decision, right or wrong, to fulfill the responsibility, the person alone can be successful. And obviously, when we postpone something because of its unpleasant or is wrong, it has potential to create crisis, and when it occurs, we all inadequately equipped to face it. So don't do it. Just try to eat the frog. Just complete it. Just if we don't like that task, then also we need to do. And if it is allocated to us, it's our responsibility and authority. So we need to complete that authority and responsibility first. So that's why it is given more importance here. Second thing is, sorry, recognize the problem and act. Many times we don't recognize the problem, we are just acting first and then we are recognizing the problem. In one movie there was one dialogue of Zilla Ghaziabad or something, यहाँ पे गोली पहले मारते हो लास्ट से पूछते तूने क्या गलत किया. Don't do it like that. First, know what the problem actually is, and then try to discuss it and try to solve it. So we get to use to problem so much chronically that we don't recognize it as a problem. When there is a problem, we tend to say there is no problem, everything is will be all right, but it will not be all right. We try to recognize the actual problem. So that was the main thing. Like the movie, all like in Three Idiots, whatever the problem is, we are just saying all is well, and the problem gets bigger and bigger. So don't do it. Try to recognize the problem and react on the problem. Try to solve the problem. Students, basically, I am just skipping this slide, Murphy's Law and Karma. But remember, this both things are associated with Six Sigma. Whatever things go wrong will go wrong, and whatever the things we try to correct it, would become gradually correct. So that is a basic law of karma. Uh, okay. Now, most important thing is that dealing with the issue. Many times we need to deal with different issues. So like for example, in a company or in a, you can say every organization, there are many of the different competitions available, many different issues available. Suppose there is no resource, there is no manpower, there is many other list of the issues are there, but how you are dealing it, that makes a different personality. As the manager, you need to learn how to deal all these things. So for any businessman, interface from competitor will be a problem. This is not created by him. This has to be faced, and this requires inner strength, as I have discussed. That everything is set by a nature. Many times you need to focus on what you are doing rather than how you are doing. So just face it. It's like a learning to drive a car. The instruction cannot be reproduced all possible traffic situation. The learner has to deal with a particular situation as they occur. So as I have discussed many times, you cannot apply like everywhere solution is not the same. Different people have different problem. Different people would be having different ideology to solve the problem. And so as we all are different, but as a manager, you need to learn how to solve it. Every effect is calculated risk. See, many times we need to calculate what risk is associated and how much it would impact to our business. So when you make a business projection for a following year, factors like potential demand, how much demand for that year would be available, how much availability for raw material, changes in tax structure, strikes, and all these things we should consider in advance. Since every intelligent effort involves calculated risk, the two results can be expected from every effort: success to different degree, failure to different degree, because we are predicting. Now our prediction may go right or may not go right, like our hypothesis. Whatever we are thinking, maybe our thinking is right, so our null hypothesis is fail to reject, or our null hypothesis is rejected. Most important thing of Six Sigma, you have to learn. Many times we doesn't think we are thinking that we are the best. We don't see the limitation, we don't see the failure, and even many times we try to ignore the failure. We don't see the limitation, but in research or in statistics or in any other world, we are highlighting the limitation in project in reality also. So when you apply Six Sigma in any organization, you need to highlight it that these things cannot be covered due to limitation of machinery, due to limitation of technology, due to any other reasons. To be for a failure, it is necessary to recognize one's limitation. Like, first of all, if you want to know why you are failing, we need to know what are the limitations. Our knowledge is limited, and so we cannot avoid many situations from occurring. Otherwise, we could avoid all accidents. See, basically, when you drive car, this is just an example. You, like, best of the best driver also has a probability of 3% to do a accident. So same thing applies in each and everywhere. If you are a master, if you are a black belt, if you are a champion, you can also do a mistake because you are a human being, and human error are always there. In each and every project, each and every resources, each and every process, each and every work which human is doing, there are chances of error. Even the surgery, many of the doctors are doing it. So not 100% surgeries are successful. There are chances of failure. So same thing applies in it. So we need to accept our limitation that due to we are human being, we have many of the limitations, but we can overcome it by just making someone confident. Sometimes we have the knowledge, but our power is limited and we feel helpless. If you permit yourself to be depressed for a reasons you seem to be have no control over, you become helpless, and the outside factors will make you more and more inefficient and ineffective. So many times you don't have to just focus on limitation. You just have to accept the limitation rather than being on a depression and other thing. You just be free, accept the facts and try to work on it, and on the basis of it you will get the best reason. So accept the facts and keep doing the action. So my one of the best dialogue is trying and crying. So both are having only one letter change, T and C. Try it. Just apply the methodology. Whether success or failure, law of karma would be there. You will get a result. Now, basic time prioritization is there. So in our day-to-day life, in our day-to-day business, time prioritization would be there. If suppose I was doing this workshop in class, I would be showing the one of the you can say experiment, but now hopefully I'm just taking online. So I had just written this thing. Just I am showing the glass, and I am asking to you all that what actually is it. So you would be saying that it is an empty glass, and I am saying it is your life. I just make the like I would just fill with water. I will just make a tab. I will insert pebbles and stone and everything, and at the last I would say, is it completely filled? But then also I can fill it with water. So that is most important thing. You need to manage your time on the basis of it. So that was an activity, but due to online delivery I cannot do it. But then also I will try to explain it next time. But we need to make our goals clear. First of the thing, when we are just working on time management, when we are just working on our Six Sigma aspects, as a manager, you need to know that your goals should be clear, how to overcome that things. Nobody works for failure. You do not have to make an effort to achieve a failure. Sometimes people invest in failing because of tax purpose. It is not a real failure, or it is calculated achievement, or etc etc. But your goal, exactly what you want to achieve it. Many times you are seeing a movies that loss making companies are becoming profit making companies, and reality also it happens. So that should be clear, that if you want to work for a company, you try to work for a company in such a way that your loss making unit should become a profit making unit. You manage it. So corporate manager, so be the clear about goal, prioritize the goal. There should be no conflict without, you can say there should be no conflict. There should be based on resources, time, money, and you can say resources. and even be concerned with immediate plan without getting down to the scale of a project. So plan A doesn't work, try to make an efficient plan B and try to work on it. Now I am just skipping this thing. Now my concept starts of understanding lean. See, I had explained what is lean. Lean is nothing, but we would be seeing what actually lean, and because lean and Six Sigma goes hand in hand. When I had explained you Six Sigma, no, at that time I had discussed with you that without lean, Six Sigma is not possible, and without Six Sigma, you can say lean. Maybe lean is an initiation step, but after lean, you have to implement Six Sigma. So they both comes in a single package. So that's why many times you would be find lean Six Sigma certification, and that's why lean is most important thing. So now what actually is lean, and why we are studying lean first of all. So first of all, lean is a systematic approach to identify and eliminate the waste, or you can say non-value added activities through continuous improvement in pursuit of perfection by flowing of a product at pull of a customer. So remember, lean is nothing. You try to identify where the wastage is there, try to reduce that wastage, and try to just deliver what your customer demands. It is a pull system. Lean champion. Now, how to be a lean champion? Lean champion typically chosen to lead a lean training, lean projects, and lean transformation. As I had discussed, if you want to work on a lean, you just try to adopt a lean project. See, not necessary that every company would have a like zero wastage. Many companies would be having wastage. Now, suppose you just see around your area, you will find that something is wastage, and by your visions, you can improve it much more thing. Just make a small project and you just hand over to it. It would give a better result, and that is basically implementation of lean enterprise. Now see how lean enterprise becomes, or how it works. So any organization that continually try to eliminate waste, reduce the cost, and improve the quality, on time delivery, and service level, then that type of enterprise is known as a lean enterprise. Like for example, one of the best example is Amul. I, I I am giving many times this example in my lectures also. Amul is considered as a lean organization. Why? Because they are trying to give the best and on-time delivery. Like for example, you just see it in a Gujarat or in Kerala or at every corner of India. Morning 6:30, you will find out that milk bag near your house. And why it is happening? Because they are striving to eliminate wastage, even they're trying to reduce the cost, they have improved the quality, and last but not least, they are giving on time delivery, and you can say at most service levels. So that is basically a part of lean. So till here, any doubt to anyone, students? First we were discussing about time management as it was a part of our Six Sigma. Now we are working on a lean. So lean, I would be just explaining in depth, and then we would be moving towards our next topic. So till now, hopefully no doubt to you all. No, any doubt till now? Great. Okay, now you will say, sir, lean production and mass production, does both same? No, actually remember, lean production is actually opposite to mass production. Now what is actual difference? I would like to say mass production means producing bulk at time, but lean production is totally different concept. You produce that much only how much it is required or how much it is demanded by the customer. See, both concepts has much more wider meaning. Like mass production, what you are doing, you are trying to produce in a bulk and you are just dumping in a market. That has a pull system. That is pull system actually. Why? Sorry, push system. You are just preparing and pushing it in a market. But when you just work on a lean, the things get opposite. The things that would be just working opposite to it. And when you just apply lean, you would be just working oppositely. You would be just producing that much which is in demand for a market. Now I had explained the two words. The first word was muda. Sorry, I had not explained tough time. I will explain today. But muda I had explained it. So Japanese word usually translated as a muda, which is known as a waste, that refers to eliminate the production that do not add value to the product, and even they try to reduce the waste. And there are 8 types of waste that we have discussed in our previous sessions also. So we need to reduce the muda. Now, see, muda, when your wastage is reduced, we also reduce to we also try to reduce the time, production time. Like we try to produce fast. So now that is basically the concept comes about tough time. Here I would like to add one more thing. When you do the same kind of job many times, your learning curve, basically learning curve theory, would be improved and your efficiency would be so fast that you can produce it accordingly to the requirement of your product or process. So many times we need to see the tech time, or you can say tuck time, the availability production time divided by the rate of customer demand. Tuck time sets the pace of production to match the rate of customer demand and becomes the heartbeat of any lean system. So basically, tuck time is nothing, it is just a mathematical formula. What actually it does, whatever you are producing, you are just dividing it by the rate of customer, like how much the demand, total demand is there, and how much time you are taking. Like for example, for 10 units there is a demand, and that 10 units are produced in 24 hours. So your one unit is produced in 2.4 hours. So that is basically known as a tuck time. You need to reduce that tuck time so that you can be your efficient production system, and you can establish a quick production system on the basis of it, and you just try to find out. Like for example, tuck time, for example, here they have given that the shift available in minutes, that is for 480. Maybe you are just reducing the breaks, so efficient duration is reduced. Lunchtime you are reducing. 5S concept you are applying. Meetings you are applying. Changeover you are applying. Even maintenance and other things. So your actual tuck time in minutes, that is 210. On the basis of it, you can find out your mean and maximum and average. So that is basically known as a tuck time. So whenever you are just reducing the time of a wastage, like suppose you are efficiently working on it, you are implementing the tuck time concept. Most important thing of Six Sigma, because as I had discussed, Six Sigma focuses on the process, and we need to improve our process. So business process improvement system, in simple words BPIS, is an important concept which focuses on Six Sigma, or you can say it is a heartbeat of Six Sigma. But how to improve business process, that we need to learn. So what are the ground rules for implementing overall process? See, when we just discuss about process, first of all, the participation is important, because each and every employee or each and every person who is working on it, everyone should be a part of a business. Even everyone is contributing to the business. So everyone should participate first of all. Next thing is, anything is to open the question, like transparency is required. Like many idea which comes from the different mindset, they should work on it, they should discuss with it, and on the basis of it decision should be taken. Next is, look at the issue from larger perspective. Issue should not be from the smaller viewpoint, or on only top management should not see the issue. That issue should be discussed with overall people or overall staff, and on the basis of larger concept or consequences, we need to discuss and decide whatever we need to do. Ideas from anyone is respected. As I have discussed, there should be a credit, but that credit, that should not be like that. The efficient ideas should of a common people who is working, you should accept that ideas, and on the basis of that ideas, you need to take a decision. So his consideration is important. Talk to ideas generated, not the person. Okay, remember this is most important concept. In many organization, no people who are not considering the smaller level people, like the people who are actually working on machinery, like managers, or you can say top manager, board of directors, they don't consider the voice of employees. Now see, as sir थोड़े दिन पहले आप voice of customer कह रहे थे. Now you are changing the party voice of employees, but actually remember, voice of employees are most important, because when they are working on a ground, they are working on that ground, and when they work, they just face a real problem and they are trying to communicate with us. So listen to them. So as they have respected, like ideas from anyone is respected, anyone can share a new idea. Talk to ideas generated, not the person. If suppose the person foreman comes to your office and he says कि sir machine में ये वाली चीज नहीं चल रही है because of this reason, accept it, check it, and then take a decision. Doesn't Should not ignore them. No complaining unless accompanied with a solution and an action plan. So remember, complaining should not be like that. You need to make an action plan. Okay, have you seen that movie Nayak? Everyone has seen that movie Nayak. Anil Kapoor's best movie is there. Anil Kapoor's one day's CM or something like that concept is there. Have you seen that? They have in that in that movie, lean concept was adopted. In that lean concept was adopted. Do you remember that he has said that at every place we would be just making a complaint box, and that complaint box would directly come to me. So directly the report to top management would be discussed, and on the basis of it, he was just saying, seeing the notes from different people. He was trying to solve the problems of a people. So the same thing, same approach is a part of a lean. Like, no complaining unless accompanied with a solution and action plan. You just need to make an action plan. Like, there should be no complaints. You should try to solve the complaint. You should try to make an action. No blaming. See, this is commonly seen in every institute. Like in every institute, if some mistake is there, sir, मेरी गलती नहीं है, उसने की है. But that should not be there. That should really not be there. You just try to accept the fault and try to rectify the fault, rather than you just try to waste the time on finding out the error and trying to just blame each other. That should not be there. And there I am having one video I will show you, or I will share the link. uh, in 6th or 8th standard, there was a story of Jamun Ka Ped. In it, the same concept is repeated. Okay, now our Six Sigma quality starts, but remember, whenever a leader is trying to accept it, then and then Six Sigma can be adopted in a company. So quality is the next opportunity for our company to set itself apart from its competitor. Dramatically improved quality will increase employee and customer satisfaction, and will improve share and profitability, and will enhance our reputation. So remember, when you just apply a quality principles, not only your customers will be satisfied, but due to set of rules and regulations, employees are having clear set of instructions, they would also be happy. They would be working accordingly, and you would be getting a credit of a best organization. It's better than going to Harvard Business School. So that was a basic statement given by J.F. Welch, and he was a leader. He has adopted Six Sigma. Now, what actually the definition of process is, I had explained what actually the process is. मैं तो सिंपल चीजों को मानता हूँ, इनपुट प्रोसेस आउटपुट. नाउ व्हाट एक्चुअली द प्रोसेस इज ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन. प्रोसेस को मैं ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन वर्ड ही बोलूंगा, बट नाउ वी वुड बी सीइंग इट इन अ कॉन्सेप्चुअल फ्रेम. A process is a collection of activities that takes one or more kinds of input and creates output that is a value to the customer. Customer is ready to pay. When you process, while like for example, I am giving a basic example. Sand near, uh, you can say, sand near a seashore doesn't cost anything, but that sand is processed, like some filtration is done, and when it is just delivered to the construction area, the builder is ready to pay for it. So now that was a basic process. You have created the value, and when you create a value, You have just entered some concept of process, maybe whether in form of transportation, maybe whether on in case of filtration, maybe any services or any other thing. Again, some of the process, and we would be just moving apart. So all activity takes place in terms of process. The quality of process determines the quality of output. So remember, uh, I would like to add one dialogue which is most favorite from Sandeep Maheshwari. I am just listening, and it is one of the motivational dialogue. Whenever we just take iron bar, that would cost something, but whenever that iron bar is placed, or you can say it is just cut into the small pieces, that would cost more than an iron bar. But that same pieces is made into the needle, it would create much more value to the customers. So that all things we need to learn. So all the activity that takes place in a terms of process, that is known as, you can say, the quality of process determines the quality of output. So whatever the effort you are giving it, you are trying to generate the output, and on the basis of that effort, the quality can be known. So now there are some shocking lessons that are written here. We would be reading it. The first lesson is most people do not think in term of processes. They would rather think in term of isolated events. Mm, One of best example from my side only. Whenever I see the Maggie noodles near like now it is lockdown, but when I come to Rajkot or near Jamnagar, there are many stalls that prepare Maggie, and I just order that Maggie. So I don't see the process. I just see how he is making, and I am just seeing if all the things are okay. I am ready to pay it. But see, if suppose I just isolated the events, like I just think that it is 2 minute thing, it is just boiled and they are giving me, and they are charging 40 rupees. The Maggie is actually coming off 10 rupees. I am not seeing overall process. Like I am not seeing whatever the gas he is burning. I am just seeing his profit rather than I am not seeing overall process, what the thing he is doing, what he is adding, what he is not adding. See, that thing should not be there. Like many times we are just seeing that this product should be assumed accordingly, but it should not lie. It should not like you should not evaluate on the basis of isolate events which have been done, but you should see the overall product. Overall product should be finished. Like for example, that same Maggie, when I just prepare at my home, I need to do the efforts, I need to spend the time, I need to work, like sometimes I even have to work on the gas and all the things. So that all things are ignored. You should see from that viewpoint. When convinced of the value of thinking in terms of process, most people still don't think that in terms of processes. Like many times, no, I am only saying that um, ऐसा तो मैं भी बना दूंगा, ऐसा तो मैं भी कर सकता हूँ, but actually we cannot do it. Many times the things are moving towards the different processes, different techniques are applied, different skill sets are applied. We cannot work like I had done one blunder, I will tell you. But like when this house was prepared, no, the pop person I had called, and the ceiling I had just designed it कि भाई मैं ही डिजाइन करवा दूंगा, डिजाइनर को क्यों पैसे देने. But actually, I had seen the difference. My next house, the interior designer has designed the house, and this house I had designed it. So when I compare the efforts, obviously the cost has been reduced to one and you can say half of the cost. But when I compare both, the same person, the POP person who was working there, he has worked here, but there is much more difference. There is much more, you can say, difference in quality of work. So that should be known to us, like what actually the process we are considering, whether it is going accordingly or not. We need to respect them. We need to respect their processes. The word process generates fear and resistance. See, this is not a big thing. Process should not generate any fear or any resistance. It should be free, flexible things. So now strategic focus. As a manufacturer, you need to work on a processes only, the value chain mapping and all that things we need to learn, but we need to learn that what are the basic process we are working, like CPO model you have learned. So strategy, you need to prepare it, the input and output and feedback and everything, that you should work properly. So as I had discussed here, the same thing is there, the survey or the voice of customer from survey, voice of shareholder, like they want remuneration, they want, like for example, employees require remuneration and all that thing. But everyone is interrelated with a process, and on the basis of it, there is sub processes, and we provide the output. So we need to analyze all the process, core 1, core 2, core 3, whatever the interrelation is there. We need to understand it, and we need to act. So there are three dimensions of a project in Six Sigma. Remember, the first is improvement. Suppose the present organization is manufacturing something, and if we want to improve the product, then we need to apply DMAC model, as I had discussed with you. So DMAC, define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. So I had discussed this concept. If you remember, yes, no, DMAC wala concept to clear hai na, everyone? DMAC wala concept, yes, no? Great. So it is for actual process which we are working with presently. So whenever we are moving towards improvement, we need to focus on a DMAC. But suppose if we want to design it for the first time, then we need to use a DFSS, design for Six Sigma. Like for example, when you just launch a new product and you just have to focus on a product that should be on a Six Sigma level, and you initiate it, then you need to apply DFSS, that is design for Six Sigma. If new product is there, then DFSS. If it is a old product and if we are improving on it, then DMAX should be applied. But most of the time, management or process management plays a vital role. Okay, business process. Sorry, just give me 1 minute. Okay, build process management system. I'm sorry, I just need to correct it because I had forgotten the full form. So build process management system. Whenever we are trying to build the process management system, we need to follow many things and we need to see all the things. Just give me 1 minute. Students, just give me 1 minute so that I can drink water and then again I will continue. Okay. So this is again one of the important process, or you can say methodology of Six Sigma, that is build process management system. Many times, whatever our processes are there, we need to refine it, we need to rectify it or refine it. Rectify means correct it, or refine it means just do some changes in a product process and upgrade our process. So, build process management system is one of the proven methodology which optimize the process performance. Optimize the process performance means whatever your performance is there, that would be better if you apply BPMS. It established the value added metrics to assess the performance, or you can say process performance, takes the guesswork out and of how processing is performed. So many times, like we were just guessing it, we were estimating it. So if you just remove that guesswork and you just work on actual processes, then your process would be more efficient as compared, and you would get a better result. these are the basic steps of build process measurement system. The first process is create a process mission. Like for example, we need to make our vision and mission, and on the basis of it, we need to just create a business process measurements system, or you can say build process management system. We need to assess our previous mission and goals. Like we need to modify if it is required, evaluate if your process boundary levels have changed, as I have discussed in CPK and all that. We need to see whether our upper limits and lower limits are changed. If it is changed, just make the correction. So that was our first step. The second step is documentation process. See, when we apply any change to our business, no, documentation is playing much more important role, because when we just documentize it, we directly or indirectly we keep starting the records, and when there are records, we can evaluate that where and when the mistakes are occurring, and how frequently the mistakes are occurring, and how we are rectifying that mistakes. So all that things would be documented, like each and every things would be documented, and that would help us upgrading our system. Next is document customer and process requirement. Here we would try to develop our relationship with customer. We try to get a feedback, and on the basis of it we would be documenting each and everything, and on the basis of it we try to create the CTQs. That means the important thing, the voice of customer would be known to us, and on the basis of it we would be changing the standard of our business. Next is identify the output and measure, or you can say process measure. So that is again a most important thing. We need to identify many of the outputs and process measures according to the requirement. Like for example, if the outputs or measurements are there that we are just measuring, and if the requirements are changed, we need to work on it. Next is build process management system. Here we are just changing our old system to new system, and on the basis of it, establish the data collection plan. We just try to collect the data, and we just monitor the performance process. Like I have discussed, like we just need to make visualize the things. We need to see our CTQ level. We need to see our other factors, that is our lower limit, upper limit. If something is breaching, then develop it, work it, and just try to make the process in a limit. Develop the dashboards and specific limits and targets. See here, the one thing is added, that is dashboards. Many times, many companies just managers and top management don't see all the data. They just see the graphs and charts. And digital dashboards are the one of the most important quality tools, that they are just seeing all the aspects in one chart, and they just come to know where the drawbacks are. Like for example, I had just explained you the run charts and even many other charts. So that all charts I had explained you individually, but that all charts in a same window represents one of the big picture, and manager needs to take the decision on the basis of it, and that is known as the digital dashboard. Try to identify the improvement opportunities, so that this way the 9 steps are there to improve our BPMS system, build process management system. Again, I am repeating it. So till here, any doubt, we would be seeing it one by one, but till now everything is clear, no, to everyone? Yes, no? Any doubt till now? Great, great. Now, first step. See, I am just reading all the things because I had explained you each and every process, but we would be just discussing it. So first was to create process mission. Most important thing is our vision and mission, that should be highlighted properly. So if suppose like specific mission for a specific department or a plant required, we need to prepare. We need to list our primary process goals. See here, our goal should be measurable. and our attribute type should be there. Like we should measure it on a proper way. The second thing is documentation. So in documentation, I had explained our CPO thing. I had explained our supplier input, process, output, and customer. So we need to just make a value stream map, and on the basis of value stream map, we can just refine all the data points so it can be documented properly. Many times we need to prepare a flow chart, or you can say validate our process maps. So as I have discussed, we need to see the process accordingly. So here flowcharts to be drawn on four different perspectives of a process. What one thing the process is, what really the process is, and what could be the process, and what should be the process. So on the basis of these four statements, you need to see your present process and what you want your future process, the difference that can be compared. See, the same thing is there. The CPO is at the highest level, lower level, and third level work. And on the basis of it, we need to use certain flow chart. On the basis of it, we need to identify which activities would be there. We need to make our activity flow chart that should be displaying all the activities, and we need to deploy that chart in our process so that our people can work properly. All the roles and dependencies should be clear. Okay, I would like to discuss something more here. Many times in government office, people are not working. People are saying that this is not in my work. It is not coming under me. You just meet them and all that. Have you seen one serial Office Office? मुसद्दीलाल वाली serial देखी थी? Yes, no? Are you all awake? Good evening, everyone. Avni is saying no. ऑफिस ऑफिस नहीं देखी आप लोगों ने? मुसद्दी लाल वाली एक सीरियल है. अगर after this session try to find out, you will like to enjoy in YouTube or somewhere else. You just find out and see it. You will see that the people or government office, they don't work only, and they just make many other you can say weird concepts. They are not working, and due to this they are just not clearly indicating and highlighting the roles. So whatever the person is coming, they are saying it is not in my part of job. You just meet them, and the person is moving from one department to another department, and all that are highlighted in that serial. But as to reduce that things, we need to clarify the roles and dependencies. So for that, we need to prepare and deploy the flow chart. Like for example, finance or accountant is highlighted, so account related tasks would be done by the accountant. So that should be clearly highlighted in a flow chart, and that is helping us. So this way, different flow charts are there. Like for example, this was our activity flow chart. Now activity flow chart doesn't represent anything, but that same activity flow chart, when it is implemented in departmental way flow chart, like for example, sales would be our first activity one done by our sales. If there is a problem in sales, then that would be solved by a technical department, and if it is solved and after sales service is required, then it would be again given to sales because of that bills and all that. After that, shipping would be done. After that, you can say product is again coming under sales and all that. So all the process, like process according to the flow chart, should be clear, and that gives a proper indication of responsibility to different people, and they would be working accordingly. Otherwise, what happened, due to this confusion, they would not work. Like here, they have again clarified the activity flow charts, like what actually the specific things are happening and what are the complexities that we need to learn. Like hotel checkout process is there. So maybe if approach to front desk is, if the room is available, you would be waiting. If no, like if the person is not available, he would be waiting and again meeting here. If availability is there, then step up to the desk, check the availability. If yes, get the room, check the bill. If it is done, correct charges. If it is done, pay the bill and move ahead. Now, deployment flowchart would be something like that. The same concept as that. Like, first of all, the people and groups are associated. Like, as I had said, departmental things or departmental responsibilities would be highlighted. If availability of goods are there, then delivery would be done. If delivery would be done, then it is notified to sales department. It is also like it is delivered to customer. He is receiving the goods. He is receiving the invoice from a sales department. Even files the invoice. The invoice would be filed in a billing department and so on. So this shows a departmental responsibility. So that is known as the deployment of flow chart. Yesterday I had discussed this important concept. Remember, don't do hard work, do a smart work. The work which doesn't add activity, remove that work. Remove that work. Like for example, many times customers are willing to pay for specific process. But if you just over process it, they will not pay for you. Like as I had discussed the concept of the dairy milk, because one of my favorite chocolate it is. So in dairy milk, that golden foil, they have removed it because it doesn't add value to the customer. Customer is not paying for it. Just preservation of the chocolate can be done by the wrapper. The gold nowadays the dairy milk is coming in a plastic packing, so preservation can be done in it. So there is no requirement for that kind of foil. So they are removing that foil. So that's why you just add the steps which add the values, like customer is willing to pay for it. It shows a physical change of a product. It is right done in a first time. Like for example, in that dairy milk only, they have just nowadays introduced that thank you pack and all that. See what they are transforming. Do you know, first when I was like before 4 or 5 years, the dairy milk was creating a value by just printing the cricketer's face or a bat ball and all that thing, like limited edition dairy milk for it. So they charge 10 or 15 rupees more for that big dairy milk. Now like heart shaped dairy milks and all that are coming. So that add values to the customer. But the things which doesn't add the value, you should ignore doing it, and that is highlighted in it. Like see in a picture, like the egg is broken and this person is making a bandage. So nowadays after this, no one will buy it. Like you are only breaking a egg, you are checking it and you are just keeping on it. See here, no quality inspection is required. You just have to directly sell it. Your add value is not added here. Okay, now most important thing of the day, the step 3 is document customer and process requirement. So whenever we just see it, just keep a record of a customer. Whatever the business you are doing, you try to keep a record of a customer, that who all are your buyers, why they are buying it. Try to know something more about your product from them, because one of the famous dialogue is that one satisfied customer will bring 10 more customers. So try to highlight, try to know your customer, try to highlight the measure of level of satisfaction from them, and try to find the voice of customer into specific requirements. Like feedback forms and all that things are different tools that generate some feedback or voice of a customer, and work on it accordingly. And due to it, you will get a proper, you can say, concept for improvement of your product. So how voice of customer or VOC process works. So first of all, identify customer and determine what you need to know. Like what actually you need to know. So many times we are measuring a customer satisfaction, that whether our customer is satisfied by our product or not. If he is satisfied, then he will recommend the customer, or you can say other customers of his, like his friends or his family members. So first try to identify and determine what you need to know. Collect and analyze the reactive system data.
and then fill the gaps with proactive approaches. Maybe, as I have said, a feel like feedback form and any other data type, you can consider it. Analyze the data and generate the key list of the customer needs in their language. Like for most of the time, as a customer, you need to think that what actually the customer require, and on the basis of that, you need to make the list that what modification of a present things should be done. Translate the customer language into CTQ. CTQ means critical to the quality requirements, and set the specification of CTQ. So these are the basic things, and by following it, you can get the basic things to improve or to change the product, or you can say quality of a product. Now, most important question: what is basically CTQ? What is actually critical to quality? Why our customer, or why we are measuring critical to quality aspects? So remember, whenever we are just seeing or reframing our product, whenever we are positioning our product in a market, we should know whether customer is satisfied or not. Suppose if he is or she is not satisfied with your product, how can we improve our product? And that is basically known as a CTQ, because that is a factor, it is a critical to quality aspect, that we modify it, our product would be better and it would be more like accepted in a market. So what customer tells us and why they want from our product or service or product process output. Many times CTQ is nothing, it is an expectation of a customer. In simple words, it is an expectation of customer. CTQs are rendered from voice of customer. As I have discussed, that is from feedback from or any other form. Many times customer comes at your shop, and when he discuss the product quality and concepts or consequences, that is the basic part of CTQ. CTQ must be specific, measurable, and actionable. So we just need to improve our product on the space on the specs of quality. The CTQ or the critical factors that improve our quality, that should be specific, measurable, and actionable. Uh, I had discussed a one thing of Samsung S8 and S9. Have you seen a mobile Samsung S8? Everyone, Samsung S8 was one of the successful flagship phone, but it was also having one problem. And when Samsung has launched S9, that problem was reduced, or you can say that problem was rectified. Do you know what it was? Good evening, students. Good evening to everyone. Are you all there? Yes. What was the what was the thing in found in Samsung S8? Let me explain you carefully. Samsung S8, when it was mobile was launched, the fingerprint scanner, like every mobile has this fingerprint lock. The fingerprint scanner was somewhere in an odd position near camera in a vertical shape, and that was not feasible because of Samsung S8. The mobile was big, the people were not reaching there, so they need that was an uncomfortable thing that was manufactured by them. And many of the feedbacks from different websites, maybe different websites of Samsung, even their Samsung's own website is there, but mobile arena and all that websites are there. In it, there were many of the complaints given to the Samsung that due to this S8 fingerprint position is not comfortable, we don't like the mobile. And after 6 or 8 months, Samsung has launched S9. See, the display and other factors remain same. The fingerprint was changed and the processor was improved. So now that was a CTQ factor from Samsung S8. So they have improved their product and they are still in a market. So CTQ is nothing, it is just a need, and that need would become a driver, and that driver would become CTQ. So now we are moving towards an important concept of establishing a performance standard. Many times in an organization, we have got our CTQ, we have got our quality aspects, we have got each and every aspect of improvement. So now how to improve it? See, basically CTQ has been derived from customer that this improvement they want this much change and modification. Now on the basis of it, we need to translate our product. Now that product can be translated through this process only. So that is, we need to perform a standard. See, now standard is nothing, it is just a plan. When we apply that plan in actual process, that becomes a standard. Yes, what happened? Anyone has unmuted? क्या हुआ था? कुछ डाउट है? Should I continue, students? कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है ना? Someone has unmuted. What happened? Should I continue? Okay. Okay, listen. Now listen carefully. Like most of the standards, the performance standards translate the customer needs into quantifiable, or you can say quantified requirement of our product process. Like whatever their expectation is there, that should be in a output. So that is most important thing. And your CTQ should be a product process characteristics. It should be trained and implemented. It should be in a measurable format. It should be in a target. It should be in a specification or tolerance limit, and it should be having certain defect definition. Like for example, uh, after S9, S10 has derived, and at that time they have tried to upgrade the thing by just inserting the fingerprint in the mobile screen. So that all things are basically known as a CTQ. That CTQ should be measurable, that CTQ should be target, that there should be tolerance limit, there should be defect limit, and on the basis of it we need to documentize our process, and that is our step 3. Whatever the voice of customers are there, that we would be just filtering it in a key issue. On the basis of it, we would be just trying to mention CTQ, and on the basis of it, filtration would be done, and whatever the requirement would be there, that can be known to us. And this is a basic process of uh, implementing the BMPS. Now, fourth is identify output process measure. Many times, like we got everything, we had just implemented change in a process also, but whether the output is as per our desired standard or not, that should be checked carefully. And for that reason, this type of measurement criteria should be installed. And what are that measurement criteria? The measurement must be important. Like whatever the standard we set, that should be in actual output. The measurement must be easy to understand. Whatever the changes we are applying, that should be easily, like justification should be properly, it should be easily understood. The measurement is or measure sensitive right things and insensitive to other things. Many times, as I have said, justification should be proper. When we just implement the change, the measurement should be properly in the right side. The sensitive things should be taken care, and on the basis of it, you need to implement the change. The measure promotes appropriate analysis and action. Whatever we are just doing, it should be analyzed first and then action should be taken. It should not like that customer को ये चाहिए तो वो दे दो. It should not like be like, you should try to provide it, but you should think that how you would be providing it. The measurement or measure must be easy to get. It should be in an achievable target form. These are the basic CTQ tree template, and many things like key issues would be there, the requirements would be there, the targets, minimum limit, upper limit, output, process, input, all things would be highlighted, and on the basis of it we need to run the test. Now here we would be building our process management system. So now how our process management system is built, that we need to learn. So first objective is consolidate work performed in step 1 to 5 into your concise page, and which captures the essence of your process. Like for example, you just see you from 1 to 5, you need to just apply all the things, and on the basis of it you would be capturing the data. Establish the process specs, targets, control limits, and response plan for out of control or underperforming metrics. See, most important thing is here. Whenever we are working on business process management system or build process management system, we are applying the change. Suppose if the change doesn't work accordingly, then what would be the measurement or what would be the action that would be done for controlling the out of control or underperforming metrics? Like many times it would give us more, many times it would give us less favorable results. Then how can we improve our outcome? That should be known by us. Why actually it is important? Our mission should be clear, our vision should be clear. A process management system allows a process owner to quickly respond the performance trend. It can be enabler of a process optimization. Like for example, control tools or control plans should be adopted. And by adopting control chart or by visualizing control chart, if there are outlier, you should control it and try to optimize the process. Optimize the process means all the data points should be in your limits, maybe upper or lower limit. Build process management system, so we know what are the measures and targets that we are building. After measures and targets, we need to build a monitor system. Now monitoring system would be done by applying the different control and range chart. Like we have seen X bar chart and range chart, but not only that, we have to apply many other charts as required, and on the basis of it we need to prepare a contingency plan. If our plan doesn't work, how to react to that system or how to react to that change, that should be pre-planned by us. So these are the different things we need to learn. This is our process flow chart. This is our measurements, maybe for your y and x variables, upper limit, lower limit, checking the item frequency, and all that things should be like data should be managed. On the basis of it, you just need to collect the data. And like for example, here you would be measuring it. Your data would be on a monthly and a fortnightly or any other way you can collect it. Your upper limit, specific lower limit, operation definition of a matrix, that is your proper standard. Your calculation definition, your yellow and red, like most of the variables would be adopted, then it would come under green. There would be normal variation, then it would be highlighted in yellow, and if there is much more variation, then it would be highlighted somewhere here, and you can visualize the proper thing. Next is establish the data collection plan. See, these are the systems, step by step we are moving ahead. So when the data is collected, we need to collect on the basis of a plan. So the first is decision to collect new data. Is there existing data helps with the problem solving mission? If your answer comes no, then collect more data. What is your current data which is enough for getting your response? Whether you are just getting a data, whether it gives us a solution to problem. If yes, then move ahead. If no, then you just move to next objective. Does the current data meet the process needs? Whatever the data we are collecting, whether they are meeting the process actually, the change which we require, whether they are adopted. Is the team just using a data that is available or any other things or any other sources available to improve our process? So on the basis of it, we just need to collect a new data. Now decision to sample. See, most important thing, as I had discussed, many times sampling would be done. Many times even from your different batches of production, you need to collect the data. So it is often impractical or costly to collect all of the data. Like population data, whenever we are collecting in manufacturing segment, it is really much more tedious work to do, or many times it is costly to record that data. So sound conclusions can be often drawn from the relatively small amount of the data which is known as our sampling. So sampling is done properly, whether all the units represent the population characteristics that should be considered. After all that, we need to apply or validate the measurement system, whether our measurement system, after applying the change, after the voice of customer and after the improvement process has been initiated, we need to see whether our system is validate or not, whether the system is moving as per the requirement or not. So data is only as good as measurement system used to gather it. Measures the measurement system must be validated to ensure the data is free from error. Whatever the data you have collected or your team has collected, whether they are free from error, that should be checked first of all. There are a variety of techniques to validate data. Now, how to validate the data? The first is consult a qualitative representative or refer your Six Sigma training. So many times you need to call a qualitative expert or you need to enter a data in Minitab. Even Minitab shows normality and all that factors, then your data is proper. If data is not showing normality, then there is an abnormal variation. You need to work more on it. Review the measurement system periodically and ensure the consistency and stability over time. Whenever you adopt the change, whenever you implement the change, you need to review it and you need to consistently report it. Whether they are working on it and whether they are like whether monthly report, whether fortnightly report. If there are normal variation, then there should be like no much more suggestion or no much more change is required. But if there is much more variation that is highlighted, then you need to work on it and again you need to change or you need to adopt the change accordingly. Can the new data be generated through system modification? Like data collection consideration should be there. And on the basis of it, the last quartile, we need to see more improvement is that the PDCA cycle is running now. uh, Plan, do, check, act, plan, do, check, act. So if more requirement of a data is there, can the data collection be integrated to existing work process? Is all data being collected necessary to calculate in a process measures? Can somebody can some data collected efforts be curtailed because they don't add value? So you need to see whatever you are collecting. Still, I need to complete 9 process, so just 15 minutes are there. Please, Kirtan, pay attention, okay? So, all these concepts should be considered properly, and on the basis of it, we need to work. So, the same things are again repeated, like we need to see our limits, we need to use our control chart, Pareto diagram, bar chart, and all other things which I had explained in my previous session. Many times we need to see whether our data is discrete or continuous. On the basis of it, we just need to see whether our data is categorical or variable. So on the basis of it, we can prepare a bar chart, pie chart, or Pareto diagram, and on the basis of it, we can run chart or control chart. We just can visualize it, and on the basis of it, we take the decision. So process performance monitoring is again an important concept of the day. All repetitive activities of process have certain amount of fluctuation, and many times it happens because, as I have discussed, there is when we repeat it, there should be a variation, but that would be a normal variation. When you just center your mean, it would be same. So input process output measure would will fluctuate. Variation is the voice of process. Learn to listen and understand it. See, this is again most important thing. First, we have learned voice of customer, then we have learned voice of employee, and this is most important thing, that is we need to learn, that is voice of process, because we are working on a process and we need to improve our process in Six Sigma. So voice of process plays a vital role, and on the basis of it, we need to understand what actual change is required. So process performance monitoring would be done. So these are the basic charts they are applying. The first chart we had seen, like for example, the control charts are there, the simple bar charts are there, sometimes the dot charts are there, and all that different types of Pareto charts are there. So on the basis of it, we need to see whether we are working on the right direction or not. After that, my eighth point is to develop a digital dashboard. See why this dashboard is prepared. Um, okay, yesterday, do you remember I had shown one thing that when we were clicking on that CP and CPK charts, the process capability chart, I was getting one chart. But when I was clicking on six packs, the six pack chart, you were getting directly six charts. Do you remember that thing, everyone? Yes, no, in Minitab? Yes. So that was a basic thing that was playing a role of dashboard. Within one click, the manager can know each and every six different dimension of it. Or you can say the data was represented in a six different way. Same with dashboard is nothing. It is just clubbing all the different things in a one sheet so that you can interpret in a proper way. So how to develop the dashboard? The same thing is there. We need to identify the universe of potential measure. We need to narrow the list of a measure. We need to collect the data. We need to determine the best relationship of CTQ, and we need to finalize our dashboard, that whatever things are required that would be included, whatever things are not required that would be ignored. And last is we need to operate the process management system and identify improvement opportunity. Like if once we have improved through our process, then also if there are chances for improvement is there, then we need to improve it. So now see, process review is done by the three factors. The first factor was our external environment information, like voice of customer is there, but now after improvement we are sending our product in a market, so we would be getting a reaction from a market. That is our external information, we are getting it. The internal information is got from our dashboard, the digital dashboard, or you can say the dashboard indicators. Like whenever we are using our process, the dashboard will give us most of the insights of our data. Yesterday we have seen like CPK and process capability and even many more other graphs. So they were giving most of the indication of a process. We would be just seeing the internal environmental information by comparing all this thing, and we would be reviewing process. If we are satisfied with indicator, then continue to control actions, just make our process stable. If it is not, still more improvement can be done by taking this four action. Like no action should be taken, whatever is happening, just let it happen. Second is troubleshoot, identify the root cause why it is happening. Next is again the same thing, quick hit or a DMAC should be applied. Or still the things are not working as per the plan, then DMADV, that is again a process redesign format that we need to apply. Again here define, measure, analyze, and some I didn't remember D again, and we this both I don't remember, but again you are applying a DMAC process only, that we will learn in our further coming slides. So this was the basic process management chart. So hopefully till now, any doubt to anyone? Yes, no? Great. Still two more concepts are left. Should I cover it? Two more concepts are there, small concepts are there, that we would be listening, and then we would be ending today's session. Don't worry, from Monday again we would be working on Minitab, and on Monday we would be working on statistical analysis. So you would be enjoying that session. I can give you that faith. Okay. So basically, okay, I am skipping this product identification. Okay, now see, basically when you are just applying Six Sigma or Lean, you are working on a project directly or indirectly, because you are doing something which is not done till now. So now when you just work on a project, when you select something, so as Six Sigma is considered as a project for a company, so we should be knowing what are the success factor, what are the common pitfalls, what are the how to avoid that pitfall. Like for example of that Samsung, like they need to change that fingerprint place. So obviously that was a project. So they have like from that comments, like Samsung was coming not coming so much frequently with new device. Like S20 is coming, then after 6 or 8 months or 1 year, they develop a new mobile. But when Samsung S8 came, the within 4 or 6 months, Samsung S9 came. Why? Because there was a problem in Samsung S8. So same way, it was a project which was initiated by Samsung. So now when the project is initiated, the project manager, or you can say Six Sigma person who is managing to apply it, he should know the four things. The first is the success factor. What are the success factor? Now for success factor, he should know the project scope which is manageable or not. Like for example, when he is applying the change, whether it is manageable by the company, all the resources are available or not, whether project or product has identifiable defect. Like my previous product which is in a market, it has a defect. In a Samsung case, yes, they were having a defect in a place of a fingerprint. The defect or project has identifiable impact. Like for example, if they change the position and if they relaunch the new product, whether it would be impacting on the sales or whether it would be impacting on the profit of a business. Yes, no, that becomes the success criteria or success factor. And last, adequate buy-in from a key stakeholder, whether the key stakeholders are approving it or not. Now, to be our successful project or to make our project successful, we need to make a project charter. See, project charter is nothing. It is a document which takes the approval, and for the change they are just applying. Because see, when we just modify the process, that process cannot be modified with the same person or a single person or a black belt or any other. It should be passed through board of directors. So any manager has to prepare this change. On the basis of that change, they need to take certain documentation, certain signatures. So that is the basic project proposal, or it is also known as a project charter, and it should be reviewed thoroughly. It should measure a defects occur in a process. Like before implementation of any change, there should be something specified in a project charter. You should tell us that why voice of customer, or what are the defects in the present process. Assess and quantify the potential impact of upfront. Like for example, whenever we are just trying to upgrade it, whenever we are trying to quantify it, we need to take it, or we need to make it in a sequence, in a, it like what would impact us. Perform stakeholder analysis. See, this is most important thing. Like if we want to make our project successful, if we want to make our process successful, not project but process successful, we need to do a stakeholder analysis, like who are directly or indirectly related in a process. How can we make, or how can the change that would impact it in a profitable way. We need to find common pitfalls and how can we avoid it. So now there are always two sides of coin. If success factors are there, then failure factors are there, that we should know. So inadequately resourcing the project, many times no resource plays vital role. If resource is not available, and if we just don't plan it, the delay would be there. And if we don't implement or insert that resource, or we just try to insert any other thing which is not as per the quality standard, then also our product would be damaged. Duplicating of another project, most dangerous thing which we should never adopt. uh, okay, can anyone say why duplication is not good for a business? Imitation or copying is not good for a business. um, I would like to say one thing first, then you just give the answer. uh, every Nokia mobile was copied by the Chinese phone or Chinese companies. Whatever the China mobile was preparing, it was duplicated by the Chinese company and it was again sold in a market. But why it has not been sustained till now? Why? Like Nokia was launching new mobile 6610 or keypad mobile. Now only the 6600 has been launched. I think so. Many other mobiles are launched. 3310, I think it has launched, but it has imitated by Chinese mobile. The same company, many companies, Salrock, and I think many other companies has imitated. Why it is not good for a business? It is.
Can I?
Yes,
Hello, sir.
yes, yes. We tell. I am listening. Why it is not good for a business?
Sir, business should have some ethics and everyone has to follow it. अगर
Okay,
कोई
for
डुप्लीकेसी करता है तो क्या होता है कि कस्टमर का उसके ऊपर ट्रस्ट नहीं रहता, वो प्रेस्टीज नहीं होती। क्यों हम हर बार एप्पल ही प्रिफर करते हैं कोई भी फोन के सामने? क्योंकि उसके पास वो प्रेस्टीज है और इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, आई थिंक सो।
so in simple words, you are saying it is making goodwill in a market, right? Very correct.
यस
But
सर, यस सर।
I just wanted in a quality aspect, like you have said, Apple. So Apple is following all the standards, not only all the standards, it is applying all the like. Apple is known for a security purpose. You cannot crack any Apple mobile. But as I was discussing, why, suppose you are copying someone, so it directly or indirectly reduce your customer base. And why it is reducing the customer base? Because you cannot imit accurately. Remember this thing, कभी आप कोई भी चीज कॉपी करोगे इन क्वालिटी सेंस आई एम टेकिंग, तो वो एक्यूरेटली कॉपी नहीं कर पाओगे. लाइक यू कंपेयर द नोकिया's phone which is imitated in a market like 8910 और 6600, जो भी चाइनीज कंपनी कॉपी कर रहे हैं वो सेम क्वालिटी का चीज नहीं दे पाएंगे. And that's why I was saying that whenever you try to imitate, you cannot 100% imitate. And in quality, if you cannot imitate 100%, you cannot get that much reputation, and due to it, in a long run, your base would be ruined and you would be out of a market. And many Chinese company, now we are not adopting any of the Chinese products only because of many reasons, but in China also they are just throwing their products. So that is a real reason. So duplicating another project is again harmful, as I had discussed. Losing a project momentum. Many times we are losing sometimes a project momentum. Why we are losing? Because we are applying new standards, new rules, new set of rules. So that should not happen. The project manager or whenever we are applying Six Sigma, we should control our process. We should not we are applying new things, then old things, old process should not be like it should not go in vain. The improvement should be there. So that is an important thing. Picking the why or not the critical why. So now many times no, here we should know actual cause and effect variables. So basic thing is that like whatever we are changing, it is affecting to other production or y variable, but we should know what we are changing. If suppose without knowing any change we are applying the change, what would be the outcome? Bhagwan it should not like that. We should work properly, we should implement change properly, and on the basis of that change we should work on an outcome. So that should be there. Now how to avoid pitfalls? Like if we are applying real quality aspects in our project, or you can say in our when we are selecting our Six Sigma project, so how we are avoiding a pitfalls? The first thing is identify and get committed resources upfront. Many times resources plays vital role. Whatever the things we are just forecasting, whatever the things we are just following, resources should be committed and it should be deployed at each and every stage where it is required. Research the project database and translate from the projects where it is possible. See, thorough research is again a part of it. When we are just implementing the change, we need to gather a data from a customer, we need to prepare a critical variable, and on the basis of critical change we are changing our product. So that should be done from a research process, and we need to make it as accurate as possible so that we can deliver whatever the customer's needs are. And last, we need to set up a milestone and communication plan. So a small thing, last point I just want to discuss, what actually the good project is. So whenever the problem and goal statements are cleared, it is a part of a good project. Defect and opportunity definition should be clearly understood. As I have discussed, when you are just trying to change something, you should have a reason that why you are changing. Do not presuppose a solution. See, most people are doing this mistake. In case of Nokia, they have presupposed that our and they were having their own you can say OS. That was, I think, Microsoft OS. So they have presupposed that we are we are having good uh, you can say hardware. Our software, obviously we are working in a computers. People are using, most of the people are using Windows. So our software in mobile would be also highlighted properly. But don't presuppose it. Just do some sample survey, pilot study, and then you just generate a result. Clearly relate to customer and their requirement. You need to first work on your customer's requirement, and then you need to follow the product change. Align the business strategy, use the tools effectively, and obviously data nowadays is most important. You need to do data driven management. Whatever the change you adopt, that should be on the basis of data only. So till now, hopefully you don't have any doubt. I understand till now, but if doubt is there, then you can unmute or you can write in a chat box, or with your kind permission, I can end up my fourth day, and hopefully on Monday we would be doing all the statistics on Minitab. Students, help me just write your name and enrollment number so that I can track your attendance. Yes, very good. Mansi has written. So everyone, and hopefully you all are enjoying the uh, fourth day, or you can say fifth day of Six Sigma. But now you will enjoy much more, because now all the concepts would be in front of you, like which test, why we are doing, all would be explained carefully. So thank you, students, and have a nice day.